Thompson Productions.
But where does that come from? You know, there's a difference between dumb and ignorant. Dumb is that a person cannot process information. They just don't have the capacity. They don't have an operating system, if I put it in computer language. Ignorance is that the data isn't there. What we're dealing with is not an operating system problem. It's a data problem. We have not downloaded the proper data, the correct, the true data into the minds of younger people. And we've assumed that they're going to grow up intellectually curious and intellectually honest, and that they will look for themselves, but they're not. That's the problem. They're not looking, they're taking at face value what some podcaster says, and the result is absolutely dangerous.
This is Tyler Yonke, LPR, coming to you Thursday. We're going to have a show for you tonight. You know, he's talking about inputs. Are the podcasters wrong, or are the government officials wrong? Who is giving these people the data sets that they need to have? Evidently from Mike Huckabee, the wrong ones are going in, junk out. I say he's doing the propaganda. Tonight, though, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about the SAVE Act with Thomas Massie. Did he vote for it or not? There's a lot of propaganda out there. James Van Der Beek passes. We're going to have to talk about him a little bit. And Elijah Schaffer. Still got more coming up. Hang on.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you! You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
And let's go, people. Who's in the chat? Oh, Tyler's in the chat. Let's go. We had a show last night. We've got a show tonight. People, you gotta have your alerts on, everything, because you never know. You never know when this is gonna happen. But I did say I was gonna have another show tonight. So here we are, because I got a few little things to talk about. Last night, we went over the Pam Bondi stuff, and don't forget to like, subscribe, everything you've got to do for this show. Get your notifications on, but don't forget, first of all, to go to Substack, tyleryonke.substack.com. I want to take this away. Let's put that in there. There you go, tyleryonke.substack.com. I sent you a notice today of when we were going live, so there's no reason for you to miss it. Not at all, people. So yeah, there you go. And what does some people have to say about let's see what no, we don't want that one. I'm not finding the right, there we go. Let's try this one.
What cause is dear to your heart?
Cause is dear to my Israel, the defense of Israel.
What is number one?
Okay, that's always fantastic. Okay, we're gonna start off here going some strong. Look, the Pebble Beach Pro-Am is going on. Golf tournament is going on right now. Are we live? How come no one's in here? This is a little bit concerning. I do have a different chat thing going up. Oh, there we go. I got the black back screen. We can take care of that. The Pebble Beach Pro-Am is going on right now. It's not too far away from, and my daughter's over. She went and checked it out and watched it today with her. I don't know if it's her boyfriend. They were dating. They weren't. He's a really good golfer. Anyway, they're over there. But this is the guy that's leading it here. I thought I'd play this clip of him because this is pretty. I don't know much about him. He's a Japanese guy, but here he goes.
I had to take some of the sake bombs.
Now it's time for Hisatsune. Let's see that sip of water.
Do you take a sip of water before?
Actually, like a sake, I got something more drunk. I just joking, but it's just water.
It's just water. He's making jokes out there. He's leading the PGA, and he's saying, I'm doing a sake bomb. I'm getting more drunk. Awesome. Okay. The SAVE Act is going on, or it passed, I think, and it's some sort of voting rights thing. So we're going to look at that. We're going to break down a little bit of that. But people are, came at the propaganda from the MAGA cat turd likes is unbearable at this point. Okay. And they're really going after, I'm going to make sure this is going live here. Okay. We're all good. We're just having trouble getting people in, I guess. So the SAVE Act is happening, and or passed or whatever, but people are going crazy with it. And so what is it? Let's first of all, let's play a clip here of CNN. Now, Scott Jennings, he's kind of your magtard guy, but he's pretty smart. But he does say some things sometimes that I'm like, yeah, it's great. And this is one of them. Okay, he's on it here, but at times he does say some of the dumbest stuff ever. I was trying to fact check it because he's like, conservatives want small government. Here we go. It's the smallest government workforce that we've ever had since 1966. And I was like, wait, so I looked it up. Yes, the workforce is the smallest, but that doesn't mean it's small government. I mean, government is an entity. It's not just a person. So it's like, okay, buddy, you got to toe the line so good. Okay, but anyway, he's towing the line good on this one. This is wacky CNN women. And then remember a few weeks ago, we played Michelle Obama, and Michelle Obama was talking about how black women just don't ever get to say their piece. Okay, see if that's the case here.
Is actually championing a bill that actually would take voting rights away from a lot of black people in this country.
Wait, what voting rights is he taking away from black voters?
Oh, if we look at
the SAVE Act?
The SAVE Act, that's exactly what we're talking about. That is actually going to continue to disenfranchise.
First of all, I love how they're like, the SAVE Act? Like, it's obvious. Like look, there's a lot in this country that is exactly like Orwell, right? With its name something. So I could see them, it's not like it's called the Voter Restriction Act. But, that's what they're considered. Okay, let's keep going.
Overwhelmingly, a lot of people of color. There are so many civil rights organizations that have run the data. If we look at the way that it is going to disenfranchise black voters, it's the same reason why Chuck Schumer called it Jim Crow 2.0.
So,
this is the same president. If we want to continue...
You haven't said how yet.
I am talking about it. It's the way that you're putting new poll taxes on this when you're making people have... That's what we can call them now. It's kind of an idiom, right? If you want to say that people have to prove that they are citizens, that they have to prove with a voter ID, the reality is you're layering what is a constitutional right for the American people and making it harder for people to vote in this country, and it's going to disenfranchise black voters.
Concern you that you're making all these claims? You've yet to lay out how it's hurting anyone, but 76% of black voters think we should show an ID to vote. 80% of Hispanic voters, 83% of the American people. Are you saying that black voters are too dumb to know what's good for them? I mean, it sounds pretty condescending to me.
The SAVE Act is not
three-quarters of black voters
who
want voter ID.
Just to be clear, the SAVE Act is not just about ideas. The SAVE Act is
ideas?
about proof of citizenship.
So what?
So it doesn't...
Whoa. Proof of citizenship.
I actually...
it would fix some things if you went back to driver's licenses, maybe you have it on there or something like that. Or, you're just not giving them out to illegals, perhaps.
It also makes it very hard for married women who've changed
I was just going to say, we talked about this before.
By the way.
It's not... It actually, there's an argument to be made that red state voters, women... poor white voters could be just as...
I know, you think they're dumb too, don't you? That's the thing.
I appreciate Scott doing the Lord's work in this one, and hi, JC, which is saying exactly what it is. Oh, you think they're... And it's hyperbolic, but I think their stance is stupid. Because it really is exactly what it is. You're too dumb to... And, I've seen videos where a guy goes into, like, Harlem and is like... do you have a driver's license? And, and all these black people, and they're like, yeah. It's like, do you know how to get one? And they're like, yes, I go to the DMV. I get all this. It's perfectly fine. I could do it all the time. That is insulting. But I'm also trying to figure out that this is the whole thing here. Why do Democrats make this? Oh, because they do want to leave.
I hear these arguments. I've heard Democrats all week long.
No, please don't. No, you listen.
There's a deflection from talking about Donald Trump's racism.
I'm actually
right there.
You should be thinking about your constituents or your
Yeah, I think they're smart enough to figure out how to
colleagues in
register to vote.
Kentucky. Hold on. Most Americans don't have a passport. Many Americans don't have access to their birth certificate.
Wait. You have access. It's actually very simple. I've had to do this I do this all the time. We get new birth certificates issued out to people. Maybe they change their name, or mama has the baby, doesn't tell dad, and now he wants to be added to the birth certificate, or adoptions. And it's really not too difficult. I will say I just did one the other day. Did a step-parent adoption, adopts 3 kids, blah, blah, blah. You fill out this called VS-44 form, and he's got to sign it, and this sends that into the vital statistics to issue out a new birth certificate. And the court called me the other day, and it's like, oh, yeah, we've got this here, but you've got to redo it because it can only be signed in black ink. And then if you've typed it up, because it's a pre-filled thing, and I typed it up, but at one point it wanted attorney's name, and it didn't have a fillable form there, so I just wrote in my name, hand printed it, which it looks like typing because it's perfect, and then signed it. And she's like, and if you're gonna print it all, you've got to print it all, or if you're gonna type it, it's got to type it. I'm like, okay, whatever. The point is, so that's difficult, but it's not difficult. And I've had to get my own birth certificate a few times, and you go on the county where you're at, and it says, you like a birth certificate request. You can literally, it's so easy to do. You pay like $25, boom, this thing gets mailed to you. It's super easy to do. Oh, there we got some people. Now we're getting people in the chat. I guess we had to get them warmed up in here. 2 streams in 2 days. It was truly spoiled. JC's in here, MW Knox 186, and Righteous Gemstones, which is Magoo. I just saw this today. The appeal for Murdaugh is going, and it looks like they're gonna probably get a new trial. And then we got to do that whole thing over again. Okay, let's keep going back here to this, what I truly consider a shit show of the conversation.
Many women, a majority of women who change their names for marriage have to provide additional proof that they've changed their legal names in order to register to vote.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Let me go through another situation. My kids, I've adopted them, so they've got to change their name. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. Wife, married her. She had a previous, and there was some confusion there, and it was back and forth with the Social Security office and the DMV, but it got done. And if the people that work at the DMV are, whatever, but they can figure it out. You can figure it out. I don't understand why these people, this lady here expects, well, I do. It's like reparations, it's handouts, it's everything like that. Why make me do any work? You should prove it to me.
Scott, why don't you actually respond to the substance of what I'm saying?
I am, and
as
the substance
opposed
is
to making this about something that it's not.
You're saying,
it's not just about voter ID, it's also about...
This bitch, I'm sorry, this was a frustrating clip because I actually wanted them. She goes, why do you react to what I'm saying? Now let me talk for another 5 minutes here over you while you are going to answer me. It's Michelle Obama. Black women just aren't listening to it.
Black voters and rural people are too stupid to figure out how to register to vote.
No, that's not.
That is not what she said.
That's so offensive.
Let me offer.
Are you saying they can't figure out how to vote?
Exact same argument.
It is a fact that a majority of Americans do not have passports. Many Americans, including white people, do not have their original birth certificate or access to it.
You didn't say what you said. Rural.
I would love to offer the proof of this.
Yeah, because that is also relevant. It doesn't matter to me where people live.
I guess I have a little more faith in rural
access?
America and married women than you do.
Look, I don't know why you think you're making this about whether you're smart or not.
You're saying that they can't vote, that they can't figure out how to document to register to vote?
Access to documentation of proof of where you were born or proof of citizenship is an additional thing that people
because at one point black people actually weren't even allowed.
It's a barrier.
It is a barrier.
It's a barrier. They just do that and fold in. They just do that fold in half lean thing. Yeah. Because you said, I thought poor people were too high on Fent to vote. That didn't come through over here, but I do see it. Okay, let's take a look at the actual SAVE Act here, because I want to take a look. What is the trying to do? The bill requires individuals to provide documentary proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote in federal elections. Federal elections, okay. Specifically, the bill prohibits states from accepting and processing an application to register to vote in a federal election unless the applicant presents documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. The bill specifies what documents are considered acceptable proof of U.S. citizenship, such as identification that complies with the Real ID Act of 2005, which they're slowly rolling that out. So I assume that if you have a Real ID, maybe that's proof that you can do it, but it's similar identification. We'll see what happens. That includes U.S. citizenship. I have a passport. I wonder if that's good enough. And I do have a Real ID as well, and a lot of people are having to do those Real IDs now to fly, or at least a passport. Further, the bill prohibits states from registering an individual to vote in a federal election unless, at the time the individual applies to register to vote, the individual provides documentary proof of U.S. citizenship, and 2, requires states to establish an alternative process under which an applicant may submit other evidence to demonstrate U.S. citizenship. Each state must take affirmative steps on an ongoing basis to ensure that U.S. citizens are registered to vote, which shall include establishing a program to identify individuals who are not U.S. citizens using information supplied by certain sources. Additionally, states must remove non-citizens from their official list of eligible voters. The bill allows for private right of action against an election official who registers an applicant to vote in federal election who fails to present documentary. So I listened to this thing called Crime Weekly, and the lady, every time she's talking about a documentary, my mind's all, she says documentary. Yeah, okay. Proof of U.S. citizenship. The bill establishes criminal penalties for certain offenses, including registering an applicant to vote in a federal election who fails to present documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. So here's the text. I wanted to see if they list out here the what is required. Require an applicant to provide proof. What is considered proof? Here we go. A form of identification consistent with the U.S., the Real ID Act. A valid U.S. passport, okay. The applicant's official United States military ID. A valid government-issued photo ID card issued by a federal, state, or tribal government showing the applicant's place of birth. A valid government-issued photo ID card issued by federal, state, or tribal. A certified birth certificate. Okay, through 1 through 4, but only if presented together with one of the following. Certified birth certificate, has a signature of an individual who is authorized to sign birth certificates, includes the date of the, okay, so a valid certificate. An extract from a United States hospital record birth, final adoption decree, consular report of birth abroad of a citizen of the United States, naturalization certification, an Indian issued card, general national. Okay, so I mean, it's just so fine. Given notice of this, and now you're gonna have to go out and maybe do some work. Words are hard. Let me tell you, they're often difficult for many, many reasons. But yes, they are hard. Okay, so look, yeah, I don't have a problem with this. But here's a lady that is, I guess, worked up about it. This is Angie Craig. She says, my Republican colleagues, so she must be some sort of state or federal or I don't know, congressman, state representative, something, senator, are trying to pass a bill that would make it harder for folks across the country to vote. Why? Because they're afraid of losing elections. That's how democracy works. I'm a hell no. Is that the way? Okay, let's take a listen.
Angie Craig here. Today, Republicans are putting the SAVE Act on the House floor. It's a bill that would make it much more difficult for people to vote across this country.
It makes it difficult, if not impossible, for foreigners to vote.
Especially for people of color, for people who live.
Why, especially for people, this is what's fantastic. And this is why Scott Jennings is correct, especially for people of color. What makes them special in this lady's mind that makes it more difficult? Let's go through the options. Too dumb. Okay, there's one option. The other one is they're too poor. For some reason, they're too poor. They don't have the means. It's so demeaning, that comment, especially when people of color, that this is what you're going with, that they can't somehow figure out how to. We just walk through it, get a real ID, a passport. I mean, I have black clients, I have black friends. They seem to have a driver's license. Not everyone just drives around in what Nick say, in a Mazda with a bottle of Schlitz and no ID.
Live in rural communities, for students, for women.
Why students? I'm sorry, especially college students, they have to produce what's called a FAFSA, okay, a federal application for financial, whatever it is. It's onerous, okay? They've got to do all kinds of stuff. And heaven forbid a college kid learns how to register to vote, okay? And what was the other one? Did she say women?
For students, for women across our country who have changed their last names.
Bitch, I'm sorry. Who changed their last name. Yes, it's difficult. And you know what else is it? By the way, if you're going to say, I'm going to go travel, this is what my wife wanted to do, right? Passport, all this stuff. You've got to get your shit figured out. Okay? And if so, and if you're like, what, you changed your name and you got married, and then you don't ever want to change your social security card, your social security number, you know, the who gets your money there, right? You're going to take care of estate planning. You're going to do all this kind of stuff. Let me tell you this too, bitch. When you get divorced, you can put on the decree, I want to have my name changed, and it's court order, and you just take that in and it's fine. Or if you get married, you have whatever, and then you go in a marriage license, yeah, certified, and you get it certified. It's like an extra $25. My wife just went through this because she took forever to finally do it, and there was complications. I'll break this down for you. This is what her complication was. She maiden name, gets married, gets divorced, and then gets remarried to me. Okay, there you go. Now, here's what happened: gets married, changes her social security, as she should, to her new married name, then gets divorced, goes back to her maiden name, doesn't change her social security back to the maiden name, but changes her driver's license, okay? Then now she's trying to change it into my name, our name, my name, and she goes to the Social Security office, and they're like, you're still in the married name. So she had to go to the DMV, get an ID back to the divorce, back to the married actually one, then show that ID to the Social Security with the new marriage license. Then it got switched. Then she had to go back to the DMV cancel and it was a bit of a pain. But you know what? She's a brave lady, and she got it done. She's an American hero, according to this lady.
And to top it all off, the bill would actually cost the country $19 billion. Look, at the end of the day, my Republican colleagues know.
I don't have a problem with that. Look, we spend a lot of money on waste, right? But one thing we could probably shore up is fraud. So let's get rid of, bad votes. And then we'll just have Americans, stupid Americans voting.
That they're not going to win elections. And so they are doing everything in their power to try to create a situation where the odds are in their favor. At the end of the day, we will fight tooth and nail these voter suppression laws, and I'm a hell no on this bill.
Of course you are. You're just hell no in general. Now, she does bring up one point, which is women. If you're get married to a woman that can't walk through this maze of name change stuff, and I just told you a very complicated one that my wife on her own figured out. Went to the courthouse, got a certified record of divorce, certified copy of marriage certificate, all the little things she needed to do. And she went bravely, set appointments, and I didn't do anything. I did one thing, which is she's like, I need a certified copy of my divorce decree. And I'm like, it's in the county over here. And I'm like, I know how to do this one. Here's what you do. Boom, boom, boom. And she got it done. I just told her how to do it. because that's what men do. But if you're going to marry a woman that can't walk through this amazing, difficult labyrinth of name change, God forbid. I think Adam Nutter said Italians have trouble with identifications as well. Is that because they're scrubbing off the fingerprints and they're burying bodies out at sea? They don't want them ID'd? Or what do you mean? You mean this kind of ID? I don't know. Anyway, this lady, I appreciate her being really stupid. And because I'm sorry, you're not going to probably bowl me over this. However, we got 2 articles here. The SAVE Act would hurt Americans who actively participate in elections. If you're going to go down the route where it's too complicated to show ID and you're disenfranchised, so be it. Disenfranchised. If you can't figure that out, do I want you making votes on all the complicated things that get put on the ballot? There's bond measures, there's tax implications, there's all kinds of stuff you have on there. It sounds like if you can't walk through this difficult thing of showing proof of citizenship, then my God, I don't know that you should be voting. In recent weeks, our colleagues have written extensively about the SAVE Act, which is currently being fast-tracked by Republicans in the House. If it becomes law, the SAVE Act would require Americans to provide a birth certificate. I need some perfectly timed. No, not that one. That's I need dun dun dun, but I don't have it. But we do have that. So or this. A Brennan study previously showed that more than 21 million Americans, citizens, do not have easy access to these documents. What is considered easy here? Just like when we had, never mind, it's definitions that we need to have, okay? What was I thinking? Was it the Huckabee? He said something, and I was like, it depends on how you define things, okay? And this is subjective, okay? And so here we are, easy access to these. Oh, I know what it is. It's a clip I'm going to play a little bit later of Dershowitz. An extension to our previous analysis shows that most of them are Americans who are actively engaged voters. What's more, but what do you mean easy access? It's not difficult. What's more, the SAVE Act would impact millions more voters who do not have access to citizenship documents, but register using popular methods such as online and mail registration that would undermine the bill. However, it would curb fraud. You're just telling me there's all these kinds of ways that people might be fraudulently doing this, and we don't want them disenfranchised either. Because, I'm sorry, register using popular methods. I mean, this is voting, people. It's a right to vote. I guess you have a right to vote, but do you have a right to be this lazy? While some restriction voting policies fall disproportionately on potential voters, that's not true with the SAVE Act. We surveyed American citizens who determined who has ready. I want to know who has ready access to their citizenship documents, meaning that they would be able to produce them within 24 hours. Why do you need 24 hours? If you're going to be voting by, I've got to do it by midnight, maybe we just wait till the next election. I'm sorry. Get your shit together. And by the way, if you saw the act doesn't say, matter of fact, it makes each state, empowers them and it forces them to come up with a system to have this done, to notify the parties. This is not just going to be like, it's passed and there's a vote. Oh, shit, you didn't have it within 24 hours. You don't need it within 24 hours, but you know what? You might need it within 24 months. Okay. Okay. So this is bogus shit. I'm not going to keep going down this because it makes me want to laugh. The wrong solution for the non-problem. Well, I don't know. Are they going to are you honestly going to say there's never been voter fraud? You know, people will say that kind of bullshit, but you can't say that because we can prove that there is voter fraud, and any little bit of voter fraud, it's like the death penalty. I don't know if it's like the death penalty. I don't want to see any voter fraud. And if there's questions, if you got dimwit Trump out there saying, the election was stolen, perhaps it was. And now he's not going to be able to use this ploy anymore, right? Or anybody, is he going to still run? Doubt it. So I think it is a problem. The SAVE Act would require all voters to, yeah, we know what it's going to do. The SAVE Act would effectively be the end of third-party voter registration drives. Okay, so NGOs aren't going to get a bunch of money, I guess. The SAVE Act makes no allowance for proof of citizenship to be submitted online. Two impacts above would radically upend the work on nonprofits. Oh, I just said that. Nonprofits. You're going to, oh my word, how can you stop these nonprofits from bilking billions and millions of dollars out for some sort of voter fraud where they're mules, right? We saw that 22,000 mules or whatever it was. The SAVE Act would also place significant new burdens on election officials. Okay, big deal. I'm just not, this is fantastic. I'm for it. There we go. Scott Jennings, he had that little beef with them. There are 21 House Republicans who held out against Trump Johnson on the $1.2 trillion spending bill. Okay. Well, this has to, because the spending bill, I think, had the SAVE Act wrapped up within it. Okay. 21 Republicans broke with Trump in an attempt to derail the $1.2 trillion spending bill to end the government shutdown, citing concerns about the legislation didn't do enough to advance GOP priorities. Among a range of reasons, lawmakers argued the bill needed to include provisions shoring up election integrity. Come 1 year, okay, when was this? Yeah, this was just this year. Massey, of course, is in there, condemned what he saw as a failure to shore up election integrity with the exclusion of the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility SAFE Act, a bill requiring photo ID, and most importantly, blocked the inclusion of the SAVE Act to protect our elections against illegal aliens, a top priority for conservatives, Massey said in a long list of reasons he posted on X why he had voted against the bill. Massey, alongside with Republicans like Anna Paulina Luna, I've seen her in a swimsuit. I think you have too. Republican of Florida had called for Republicans to tie the SAVE Act into the 2026 funding bill. He wasn't the only Republican. I guess the reason is to get the spending is going to go through, and then you're guaranteed this voter act is going to go through. But if you have it as a sole specific thing, it might have more trouble. The fact that Chuck Schumer is able to somehow get Republicans to pass a version that includes all their stuff, but only a 2-week funding measure for Homeland Security, I think it's a fool's bet. The bill, which now heads to the desk of the Trump for his signature, includes funding for the Departments of War, Education, Transportation, Housing. He looks bad here. Despite the opposition, Tuesday marks the second time the Republicans have considered this legislation. The bill hits roadblocks, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, I don't want to go there yet. Oh, I didn't put it up on the screen, but you can imagine what I was reading. There you go. That's the bill that I was reading right there. But I want to look at, I thought I had some more Massey stuff here. Because he got kind of, people were worked up over him and this bill, and I thought I saved him in bookmarks, and I'm not seeing him in the bookmarks. There we go. Here we go. This is the kind of shit that people are out there posting. Let's maybe a little bigger here. The MAGA King said, the myth that Thomas Massey is some independent, principled, conservative outsider has completely collapsed. After the SAVE Act vote, he exposed himself as an utter fraud with a full-blown case of Trump derangement syndrome, spiraling so wildly out of control in real time that it's honestly glorious to watch. Well, let's actually see what he did do, because I believe that Thomas Massey actually did vote for it. There we go. There's Thomas Massey talking about himself. I voted yes on the SAVE Act, Save America Act, which will protect the integrity of our elections by requiring voter ID. I also voted yes on a similar SAVE Act that passed the House in April. It's time to for the Senate to step up. Okay. He had it explained. I had it in a bookmark here. I think he explained at some point why he did what he did. And sorry, these are all the wacky bookmarks here. He had some reason, and I don't see it here, or that I had. He had a reason.
American Airlines, like, I don't know where your bags are.
Why are you going to El Salvador?
Because I worked. I'm friendly with the government down there. I work in. Let's just say I liaison.
Okay, we'll get to Elijah in a second. Point is, Massey had reasons why he didn't vote for it, I guess. Tyler, are you coming to the LPCA convention? I don't think I can this year. Kara, sorry. Oh my God, hi Kara. Yeah, I would, and it'd be nice to see you there. Where is it at? I haven't registered. I've gone every year for the last several years. It's just not going to happen this year. I've just got a bunch of business. My son's getting married this year, and we're kind of under the gun with that. But I appreciate you reaching out. Okay, let's go to the Elijah Schaffer before we finish some things off here. I think let's go Elijah Schaffer. And Milo says, Elijah Schaffer continues to threaten and extort his wife's family, seemingly indifferent to the consequences of these messages being presented as evidence in family court. So evidently he's got Elijah's family, is probably his wife's. Mess with my family like you did, be messed with. This is your life now. You'll never see peace now. I hope you enjoy the same I have. You're famous. Enjoy the fame. You're a public figure now. I found you. Be careful. Everyone might be your enemy. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, if you start posting wild shit like that, you can. San Diego. Gotcha. I should go down there because my daughter's down in San Diego. She would be probably enjoy the visit. But it can be problematic. Oh, there's more of this. I have nothing to lose. At least give me a reason for the murder. What reason? You did this, loser. Did what? You made this. It's like a vague posting nonstop. Made what? Funny boy. You messed up. Good luck. Document whatever you want. I know you are. I know where you are. Relax. It's global life. It's like threat after threat. Incredible. Never will threaten you. I'm going to kill you because I cheated on my wife and abused her. As he's quoting that. I just have friends who are friends with. So evidently the blue must be the family member, and the other one is Elijah. Looks like he's just tweaking out here at some point. So there was a news article in let's make this a little bigger, in the Daily Mail. Exclusive MAGA star's marriage on the rocks after, quote, best sex ever, unquote, with Christian podcaster mistress who shot to fame by railing against premarital relations. Oh boy, people, this is not good. Let's make this a little bit bigger. There we go. A mega influencer went into meltdown, claiming his wife and kids were kidnapped, just as his cheating with a young underling who rails against sex before marriage exploded online. Elijah Schaffer, 32, posted an alarming series of tweets that shocked his nearly 900,000 followers and prompted frantic calls among conservatives. I don't know where my wife and kids are, and I cannot get a hold of them. They're filed as missing persons. They've gone missing, he wrote. Last enforcement confirmed someone in my household set me up. They planted drugs and said I was a criminal. This is a public trial by the FBI. Dude, that is some serious gaslighting. Because, Jesus. Schaffer has been married to his wife, Kezia, I don't know, since 2019 after they met on Instagram and she moved to the U.S. They have two sons, aged 2 and 15 months. Jesus. But his meltdown led to salacious claims about his personal life being leaked online, and sources close to him revealed even more disturbing details to the Daily Mail. Schaffer allegedly had an affair with his 21-year-old employee, Sarah Stock, a podcaster who shames women for having premarital sex. He called her the best he had ever had and flew her to his home in Florida under the guise of, look, I'll say this, for a rookie, it sounds like she came out of the box flying. She put it down. She must have known what she was doing somehow. We need to arrest Elijah until we figure out what is going on. By the way, I heard about the guy on some conservative C-Spaces at least a year ago being a scumbag cheater. Yeah, it's X-Spaces. Classic BMW owner. Hate to see it. Don't blame the car, people. Blame Jordan. Schaffer. Okay, Schaffer allegedly had an affair. Okay. He called her the best he'd ever had. Flew her to his home in Florida under the guise of work trips. You know, Top Lobster flew me out to Florida. Just saying. What? I ain't gay, but I do gay stuff. Like fucking dudes. I still have that on my soundboard from Tower Gang days. Work trips where they had sex in his secret second apartment, sources said. Those close to him also detailed how he got drunk every night and tried to F anything that moved, and his shocking abuse of his wife. Oh, why are there pictures of Jewish flags? Why are there Jewish pictures? Megastar. They put Jewish flags over his kids' faces. I don't know who did that. Oh, there we go. That's awesome. I don't know where my wife and kids are. There it is. That's missing. Soon after Schaefer's first concerning tweet, he wrote a second claiming, "I am a victim." Oh, you know what? We need to do this. This is only fair. If Elijah's going to do it, I should put up my flag too. I will bring justice. I need the public to know. I am in Virginia. The government is aware. I believe the FBI is trying to destroy my life and kill me. The third post claimed Americans are being targeted like this. They don't know they have like this, but they don't have the platform to expose it. Are they being targeted like this? They're taking everything from me. I will show everything soon. It's bad. Department of Homeland Security is working on this case as well. Are they? I'm not taking any drugs. I would never kill myself. I am not home. I am safe. The sources have spoken with Kezia said she and her sons are safe and well. Schaefer is a leading voice in Constellation and Movement in MAGA and an ally, but also a rival of neo-Nazi podcaster Nick. Okay, come on. Nick's a lot of things, but he's not. I don't think he's a neo-Nazi. He's a homo like Schaefer, whose popularity he is said to envy. I think it's his cocky envies. He shot to mega fame in 2021 when he posted a photo of himself sitting at former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's desk during the January 6th insurrection, which he and Nick both, neither one were arrested for that. Rumors swirled for months of his erratic behavior, heavy drinking and drug use, and claims of sexual harassment. He later posted that U.S. Customs had recovered his car, along with the photo of giving a thumbs up in front of his black BMW. And that's where we played Ryan Mata's thing last time. It's like, you don't understand, people. He's been, he's under so much stress. And, you know, for some reason, his insurance just got canceled. The day before, it's like all too fantastic. I'm a victim of a serious set of felonies, including gun theft. Someone from my inner circle is involved. This is an international probe, he claimed. Oh, well, is that because your wife is like Australian? I don't know who I pissed off. Come on, dude. Maybe an ex. Maybe maybe it's a spouse or former or boyfriend or girlfriend of someone you're banging, right? I have evidence and will prosecute. No, you won't. You're not a prosecutor. You can't prosecute. I'm gonna what is the word? Press charges. I'm gonna press charges. You're not a prosecutor. You could go to the DA and give them evidence and say, hey, would you do something about it? And then they're like, you seem like you're on drugs and you bang dudes. I don't know that we're gonna do that. I can't say anything else. Great. There it is. Schaefer also posted a bizarre video of himself aimlessly wandering around a flooding hotel. Sounded like he was at, I saw that. And it was, that was before all this came out, and it was really weird. And I'm like, where are you at? No one believes me that my life doesn't make any sense right now, he moaned. And his followers and other mega figures scrambled to reach him and confirm that Kezia and the boys are safe. Details of private life exploded online. Notorious right-wing provocateur Milos Yiannopoulos, who most recently served as a spokesman for the rapper Kanye West, isn't it just yay? Posted screenshots of a conversation between himself and Schaefer, urging him to go to rehab. He warned Schaefer that all stories about his bad behavior would soon end up online, and he should make a full confession and apology. Drug addiction is the only card you have left to play. If Schaefer wanted his career to survive, he wrote on Tuesday afternoon. What do you mean? Schaefer replied, but I got my car back, so that's good. Gay stuff. Yeah, what a reaction. That's like Pam Bondi's. There may be pedophiles, but the Dow is over 50. I saw Chris Martin posted today. He's like, the Dow's under 50. Can we be concerned about pedos again? Seems like was Toad in the other bed acting like he was asleep? Probably. Schaefer then read Yiannopoulos' early messages and told him he was going through some tough things and asked for help. Your tweets have been so erratic and insane that people were asking if you killed your family, Yiannopoulos replied. can you just say Milo? I hate saying Yiannopoulos advised him to get off the internet for 2 weeks, going to rehab, and be very, very fucking nice to your wife. That's crazy that's Milo's thing. More sordid claims have since emerged about Schaefer, with 3 sources close to MAGA influencer confirmed the Daily Mail and revealed even more disturbing details from behind the created curtain. There's he in his car. There's the text. The most damaging among the claims about Schaefer's personal life is his 5-month affair behind his wife's back last year. No, I think it's the gay stuff. Schaefer is said to have cheated on Kezia with podcaster Sarah Stock, now known as Sarah Setka, who worked for his media company Rift TV when she was just 21. Stock was dating her now husband, Will Setka, 28, a political organizer of Community Action Day. Can't anybody have a real fucking job anymore? All these influencers, right? They're just like, and I'm sorry, I'm happy for the Nephilim Death Squad boys and Clint and whatnot for having, this can be their job. This sounds like a lot of fun. That's fine. But then you've got like everyone's connected to these political organizations. It's just like, someone do some real work for once. I mean, I guess owning your own business, even if it's podcasting, that's legit. The alleged affair ended immediately after Setka proposed in August. 3 sources close to Schaefer told the Daily Mail. They got married in January, and Stock changed her name to Sarah Setka online. A recorded call between Stock and another man made late last year explained that she and Schaefer had sex the night they met at the Conservative Political Action Conference last February. She claimed that she was drunk after Schaefer gave her booze along with Benadryl to help clear up a rash. I mean, this clip goes here. Retard, yeah, retard nation. Jeez. It's obviously, it was my fault too that it happened between us, but I felt like it was like, he got me very intoxicated. I didn't even remember most of it, she said. Well, that's disturbing. She's okay. She looks Russian or something. Ugh. I was like breaking out in a rash, and so he was like, oh, I got some Benadryl, I'll help with the rash. Now I'm thinking back, and it's probably why I blacked out, because he like intentionally gave me Benadryl and sent me a bunch of shots and stuff. And then of course she fucked him for the next 5 months, still high on Benadryl or droopy. And obviously it was stupid on my part to go along like that, but at the same time, he obviously knew what he was doing. There's no suggestion any sex between the pair was non-consensual. Stock claimed Schaefer told her he was in an open marriage, which she believed at the time, but later discovered it wasn't true. He was like, my wife doesn't care. She lets me run free or whatever. She explained in a recorded call. She doesn't care because I take such good care of her, and she just lets me be a man and do what I want, blah, blah, blah. At the time, just like the way he acted and everyone acted around him and the things he would say around girls, it was almost like he seemed like it was true. Stock said, I don't want anything to do with him. Okay. But you continued to like, she quit Rift TV right after America Vest Turning Point Convention held in Phoenix in December 18 and 21. According to Collins, it ate me up for a long time. I feel really bad about it still. She said in the recording, I'm not a slut. Do I have a thing for that? I don't have a. There we go. She planned to keep a secret from her husband, telling the man on the call, I'm not telling anybody. But I'm going to tell you on a phone call this recorded. This bitch is so dumb. I'm not a slut, she said. Though she only admitted to the initial sexual encounter in the recording, one of the sources told the Daily Mail she confessed to many other times in other conversations. Stock, who pushed on with the source heard about her affair, admitted to having sex with Schaefer on several trips to Florida and elsewhere under the guise of business trips for Rift TV. Other sources close to Schaefer said the pair frequently had sex, sometimes multiple times a week, including after company events. They saw each other, traveled times together. She would come out in Florida a week at a time, every so often. He and Sarah met in New York one time. He took her out to some fancy date to give her an example of how she should be treated, and also dropped a ton of cash on new clothes on her. Elijah would describe Sarah as the best he's ever had. Oh, these people. They would FaceTime all the time too, and it was really weird because Elijah would flex on the phone and like put his arm over his head so he could show off his muscles. He was always looking for excuses to take her to the beach so it could be around her without a shirt on and impress her. Setka was kept in the dark primarily by Stock claiming her trips to Florida and the evening liaisons with Schaefer were entirely work-related, sources explained. Multiple sources described the time Setka even paid for a taxi for Stock to go to Schaefer's hotel at night because she claimed they needed to work on something. Yeah, his cock. Schaefer allegedly used the same excuse on Kizia to explain he was spending so much time with Stock on her trips across the country. Yeah, they're just, oblivious spouses. You got to be a little bit better than that. Two of the sources explained that Schaefer secretly rented a second property in addition to the couple's home in Boca Raton, where he would stash Stock and other women to cheat with them. Jesus. Who is this guy, like Dexter? They said Schaefer even took his sons to the apartment and he didn't cheat on his sons too, did he? And used the oldest one as an alibi. He's got the kids to lie for him. He's like gets the toddler to say, oh, he went to the office. He really was taking them over to the apartment. Kezia confided in one of the sources that she eventually found out about the second rental when her husband got sloppy and contributed to her leaving him. She had long suspected Schaefer was having an affair, but didn't know about Stock until last week. Kez found out about Sarah, the rest of the world, they said, when the rest of the world did. Stock's dalliance with her boss is particularly ironic when she spent the past year being a vocal opponent of premarital sex and shaming women who do it. Real Christian men want to get married because sex outside the marriage is a sin, regardless of whether you've committed a sin before, she tweeted. Another tweet read, sex is bad for the soul outside of its intended purpose. What's its intended purpose? By the way, I should probably Restore Christendom rated the show. Thanks, people. This backdrop, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Let's take this off, though, just in case someone freaks out. Stock also insisted she was a virgin on multiple podcasts. According to colleagues, made Setka wait until they were married at all the while having sex with Schaefer. The oblivious Setka proposed to Stock in August, and she posted a photo with the engagement ring on her hand, caption, I won. I think the engagement came because he suspected that Elijah was pursuing her because there was very quick, all of a sudden, like she was engaged and it was out of nowhere. One of the sources said Stock converted to Catholicism in April, sharing a picture of herself with the priest who administered the conversion ritual. After they got married in January, they went on a honeymoon to Europe. That included a trip to the Vatican where they had their marriage blessed by Pope Leo the 14th. As any couple can do, they show up at the right time. Well, yeah, talk about the right time. There it is. There's the photos. Oh, look, who is that guy? Looks like he was on 70s comedy show. Okay, there's the Pope. Marriage scandal, downward spiral. There's his wife. Tragic. I think we're done. We're done with Elijah Shafar. Bottom lobster? Yeah, for sure. Last thing I'm going to talk about here is, so James Van Der Beek, I got just a few more things here. But James Van Der Beek died. He was Dawson's Creek. He was an actor. This is actually a very moving thing. I don't even know how I feel about playing it because it's kind of shocking. So he died of cancer. You can tell he wasn't doing well. But this is actually, I'm going to play at 1.25 speed. We'll just start out with this. Hang on.
Today's my birthday, and it has been the hardest year of my life. And I wanted to share something that I learned with y'all.
You know, while I want to speed it up, I don't know that it does justice, because we'll let him talk in his own time.
When I was younger, I used to define myself as an actor, right? Which was never really all that fulfilling. And then
I know I'm going to break into this because I want you to, if you want to go see this for yourself, you can. It's sad, but I'm going to break in here and talk a little bit again about Elijah. I went down to Grove. I mentioned this before. I went to Grove. And Elijah's there, and he was of all the people, Owen Benjamin, he was great. Liz, she was okay. What's her name? I don't know. There were some other ones. They're fine. Some of them were great. Shane Cashman was phenomenal. And of course, all the guests and everybody that was there. I love seeing everybody. It was fun. Elijah was just weird. Okay. Shirts unbuttoned a little far. Maybe that's just a Florida thing, tight jeans, kind of just really, he would put his stuff over there on the mic and where I was running all the sound stuff, but he wouldn't really be friendly. And at one point I had to go find him and give him his shit back. Just a weirdo. I was like, I came away, I didn't really say this at the time, but I came away just like, because I didn't need to badmouth anybody, but I was just like, he wasn't impressive to me. He was annoying. I could have done without him. But he was there to promote and all that stuff, good stuff. So good for the Bro Grove. I was going to bash that, but now it's coming out and it's just like, okay, it makes me feel a little better that the weirdness. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
And I became a husband, and that was much better. And then I became a father, and that was the ultimate. I could define myself then as a loving, capable, strong, supportive husband, father, provider, steward of the land that we're so lucky to live on. And for a long time, that felt like a really good definition to the question, who am I? What am I? And then this year, I had to look my own mortality in the eye. I had to come nose to nose with death. And all of those definitions that I cared so deeply about were stripped from me. I was away for treatment, so I could no longer be a husband that was helpful to my wife. I could no longer be a father who could pick up his kids and put them to bed and be there for them. I could not be a provider because I wasn't working. I couldn't even be a steward of the land because at times I was too weak to prune all the trees during the window that you're supposed to prune them. And so I was faced with the question, if I am just a too skinny, weak guy alone in an apartment with cancer, what am I? And I meditated and the answer came through, I am worthy of God's love. Simply because I exist. And if I'm worthy of God's love, shouldn't I also be worthy of my own? And the same is true for you. And as I move through this healing portal toward recovery, I wanted to share that with you because I think that revelation that came to me was due in no small part to all the prayers and the love that have been directed toward me. So I offer that to you, however it sits in your consciousness, however it resonates, run with it. And if the word God trips you up, I certainly don't know. I can't claim to know what God is or explain God. My efforts to connect to God are an ongoing process that is a constant unfolding mystery to me. But if it's a trigger, it feels too religious, you can take the word God out and your mantra can simply be, I am worthy of love. Because you are. Thank you for the love and prayers, everyone. Have a blessed day.
Okay, so he passed, sad stuff, but juxtapose that with with what we just saw with Elijah Schaffer. Now, James could be blowing smoke too, but there's been a lot that's come out. Like even like his ex was like posting wonderful things about he and his wife, and he's got all these kids. Kind of a conservative dude, I think, at the end. But it seems like, if this is the genuine person, you never know when your life's going to end, right? When my father-in-law passed, I got up and I did a speech thing. I actually posted it on our channel. If you guys you want to go back and look at it. And I quoted a song. It's a stupid, cheesy song, a religious song but the point of this song is like a man you would write about. Like somewhat you pass. What kind of person do you want to be known for? What do you want to be known for? And the premise of this was someone that someone would write about, right? And think about that in a positive way, right? James Van Der Beek comes to this part of his life understanding and makes changes or grows, and that's the kind of person that's being heralded online. Plus a lot of things about him, like throwing footballs and varsity blues and whatnot. So, sad stuff. R.I.P. Mox. That's sad. It is sad as of the passing of Tower Gang. Good question, Jordan. Ass cancer pointing a gun at Elijah Schaffer. Yeah, okay. There. Appreciate everybody coming back to the standards. Now we're going to play a few clips here. We're going to mog a few people that deserve it, starting with Alan Dershowitz, by getting some abuse by Bossum. But this is important because you don't have to like Bossum and his ways, but it is important, I think, when all stuff is coming out, you've got to, it's so crazy. I'm going to play another one here of the oppression, and we're done with it. We started off with Huckabee, and he's like, kids nowadays are listening to podcasters. They're not getting the propaganda that they need. And it's like, you know what? Part of the problem is stuff like this. Let's just play this. Bossum,
the evidence is there that he is actually a Russian asset. His girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, was the daughter of a Mossad super spy. He was represented by you, Mr. Dershowitz, Israel's favorite lawyer, who you're also a lawyer to the Mossad, which, of course, everything you tell us will be true. Ehud Barak was at his place the whole time. He fled to Israel. He was charged with sex crimes, and he was pictured wearing an IDF shirt. He was funded by pro-Israel fanatics. He worked for the Rothschild. He donated to pro-Israel student groups. He was responsible for the Wagner's group's pro-Israel philanthropy. He supported Israel settlement projects. His friends were all Zionists. He referred to us as Goyim. He was involved in Israel diplomacy effort. He brokered security deals with Israel, and even a former Israeli intelligence officer, Ari Ben Menashe, like Mr. Ryan Grimm said, he said he ran a honeypot for Israel. So yes, of course, he was definitely a Russian spy. Makes sense. You know what? I'm by the way, Mr.
You're a good comedian. You're a good comedian. This is very funny.
I'm actually a huge fan of yours because I have known you since the 2000s. I mean, actually, you're one of the very few lawyers who are actually known in the Middle East. It's like watching a real-life courtroom drama lawyer. There are even T-shirts with your face in it in Egypt. And I've followed you for a while. And that's why I'm here today. When they told me Mr. Dershowitz is here, it's like, I have to be here just for the gaslighting, because the level of gaslighting isn't new. For more than 2.5 years, Mr. Dershowitz and his client, Israel, have gaslighted us in front of our eyes for 2.5 years with all of the destructions and the killing that we've seen in Gaza. But according to them, it's not a genocide. It's self-defense. He told us that every dead child is
not a genocide.
That the
it's a blood libel to call it a genocide.
You, sir.
It's a blood libel to call it a genocide. Now, there are technical definitions of what a genocide is, okay? So, but even then, it's subjective about how we get there. So the reality is, it's a subjective determination as to what a genocide is. And when you see the video and you do all this stuff and you do some of the calculation, I don't think it's a stretch to say it's a genocide. If you do, maybe I'm not going to say that, but when someone says that, I'm like, I see where they get there. It's a blood libel. This is right here. I bet Dersh doesn't do anything Jewish here at all. Yes, he calls it a blood libel. That is just insanity.
That the International Court of Justice is a fake court, and Israel predicts an anti-Semitic.
But it's not a lie. How does a lie has to be intentionally misrepresenting the truth? I don't think it's an intentional misrepresentation of the truth to call it a genocide. I just think that's an opinion, and it could very well be.
Please, I did not interrupt you. Don't interrupt me. I know that you're a lawyer and you do that. Objection.
I'm going to interrupt you if you use the word
now, the
genocide.
Epstein files are public. People can read them. People can see the horrible stuff that you, again, are gaslighting us. In your own words, you said that he's not a pedophile because he liked 15 and 16 years old, but not 11 and 12 years old.
No, I said 17 and 10 months.
Now, I want to, he's going to say it again, 17 and 10 months. Now, are those two different ages? Or is that age of 17 point, 10, right? Point 8 or whatever it is. Right? I mean, 10 out. The point is that 17 and, 10 months out of 12? Or is that saying he likes 17-year-olds? He also likes 10-month-olds. I don't know which it is. But another Jewish thing to go here is he's being very legalistic. I did not say pedophiles because he likes 17-year-olds and 10-month-olds. No, he likes 17 and 10 months.
People can
17 and 10
You
months.
can read the ages of the kids in the emails. They can read about the pizza, the ice cream, the
He
beef
wasn't
jerky.
convicted.
And you can see the...
he wasn't convicted. Awesome. Damn it, he did do the blood libel thing, but at least he didn't threaten to sue. Blood libel sounds like something that happens after you take a Benadryl from Elijah Schaffer in a moldy apartment in Coral Gables. Oh, wow. How do we pin that comment to that? There we go. We're going to pin that one to the top. Damn, Jim. Solid thing there. Okay, last few we're going to do here. I'm not going to even play much of this, but this lady is reading this. Evidently, she's got this sign up. It says, Jews love to see themselves as oppressed. So she's going to definitely not fall into the stereotype as this banner is up.
As many of my colleagues have, and will point out, Mr. Carl's vile anti-Semitic comments are very real. Whether he tried to erase them or excuse them. As co-founder and co-chair of the Senate's bipartisan task force for combating anti-Semitism, the only former synagogue president to serve in the United States Senate, and as a Jewish woman and mother, I'm especially compelled to call out Mr. Carl's record. So I'm just going to put it in context. In a study released this week by the American Jewish Committee, 1 in 3 Jewish Americans state that they have personally experienced anti-Semitism at least once
there we go.
In the last year. And last year, another study that found nearly 1 in 5 Jewish Americans were assaulted, physically threatened, or harassed right here.
For those listening, there's a giant sign right above her head that she has on a placard that says, quote, "The Jews love to see themselves as oppressed." And she's mocking, she's combating this by telling us how oppressed they actually are.
The United
Not
States.
just sees themselves as oppressed.
Our own citizens, all of our constituents, everyone. Nobody feels safe in their home communities.
Nobody.
And I know this is something that senators on both sides of the aisle really care about. I do know that. And yet Mr. Carl, despite his long record of problematic statements, has been nominated to lead our country's engagement with every single country in the world through our diplomatic work with international organizations.
Who is this guy? He
Some may
sounds
try to
based.
excuse Mr. Carl's remarks, claiming his words were taken out of context, that he never said them, and that his own heritage protects him from criticism.
Oh, what's his
So
heritage?
let me be clear. Identity does not excuse anti-Semitism. Identity does not excuse racism. Identity does not excuse hateful rhetoric. Regardless of who says them, words matter, as my colleagues have said.
Okay, they don't really matter too much. I mean, they do matter. It depends on what your job is to matter over. We're almost there, people. This is, do I want to play this? Let me see, this one. We already played Mike Huckabee. And what are these? Oh, this is me downloading the thing. And then, I don't know, that was a pop-up. Okay, so this is, this finish here with this.
We should be Christian. Would be better if we were.
This is
we should be Christian.
Dan,
Would be better if we were all
what's his name here? I'm trying to remember from CNN, talking to, what's her name?
We should be Christian. Would be better if we were all Christian.
Yes.
We should all be Christian.
Yes. Would you like to come to church with me, Donnie?
So I should not be a Jew. I should be a Christian. And this would be a better
Well,
place.
you could be a practicing Jew, but you're not.
Okay, I actually am. That's not true. I really am. But so we would be better if people were there were no Jews
Well,
and no Buddhists.
whenever I'm harangued by
that's you can't believe that.
Liberals on diversity. No, it's true. I give all these speeches at mega churches across America. And the one thing that's really striking about it is how utterly, completely diverse they are and completely unself-consciously. I mean, you walk past a mixed-race couple in New York, and it's like they have a chip on their shoulder, just waiting for somebody to say something as if anybody would.
I don't agree with that at all.
And
maybe you have the chip looking at them. I see a lot of interracial
Donnie
couples.
Deutsch,
I don't see any more or less chips there either way.
No.
That's
in
your
fact, there was an entire Seinfeld episode about Elaine and her boyfriend dating because they wanted to be a mixed-race couple. So you're lying.
Because it's in a Seinfeld episode. Okay.
But, yeah, I think that...
I see, look, that's not a lie either. That's his opinion, and it's your opinion. So I think he probably is lying, though, because it's very true. I go to a church that is quite diverse, and you don't think about it when you're at church. I mean, for me, growing up like that, it's when you're out and everywhere else that it feels that way, right? So she's got a point.
That's reflective of what's going on in the culture, but it is completely striking that at these huge mega churches, the idea that the more Christian you are, the less tolerant you would be.
No, that's not my point. But you said we should just throw Judaism away and we should all be Christians then.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, it's a lot easier. It's kind of a fast track.
Really?
You have to obey.
You can't possibly believe that. You can't possibly.
Yes.
You're too educated. You can't. You're like my friend.
Do you know what Christianity is? See, we believe your religion, but you have to obey.
No. But
we have the fast track program.
Sure. I'll put you with the head of Iran. I mean, come on. You can't believe that.
The head of Iran is not a Christian.
No,
I
but
don't
in
know
fact,
if you've been paying attention.
Let's wipe Israel off the earth. I mean, no Jews?
No, we just want Jews to be perfected. as they say.
Wow, you didn't really say that, did you?
Yeah, no, that's what Christianity is. We
All right.
believe the Old Testament, but ours is more like Federal Express. You have to obey laws.
In my old,
we
my
know
old
we're all
days,
sinners.
I would argue, when you say something absurd like that, there's no.
What's
debate there.
absurd?
Jews are going to be perfected. I'm going to go off and try and perfect
Well,
myself.
that's what
Ann
the
Coulter,
New
author
Testament
of
says.
If Democrats Had Any Brains, They'd be Republicans, and if Ann Coulter had any brains, she would not say Jews need to be perfected. I'm offended by that personally. And when we have more...
There you go. He is offended by someone's religious idea, which proselytizing, I imagine, which would be to convert, right? So she offends him, and he is offensive himself. That is all for tonight. Hope you have a good weekend. I'm going golfing tomorrow. Don't tell anybody. Skipping work. I'm gonna do a little bit of work. Golf. But I'm heading off to the gym at 6:40. My wife and I are gonna go to the gym. Based and Coulter. Take care, everybody. Till next week, I am out. And should I have a little catchphrase? Oh, go to tyleryonke.substack.com. Until next week, whatever.
Okay, I'm leaving now.
But she's back.
And now.
Tyler, if you had any clout about you, if you had any like knowledge of the real world,
none of us are screaming, "Let's kill Tyler."
Tyler says, "My
Jewish princess."
You low key, you're one of the funniest dudes like in the like Liberty world that I know.
more or less, eat shit and die. He's just a podunk lawyer somewhere in like rural California. He's an idiot, really.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick. I guess that's me. Keep fucking that chicken.
Do you see what he just did to Tyler? I feel like you don't get the appreciation for your humorous wit.
What are you talking about? I didn't say that. Why don't you argue with something I said, you dumb bastard?